folks are kind of interested in. So Margaret, another one you may find is Adobe has Rush, which looks amazing. I just haven't used it as much yet. But I think you'll have the same opportunity to add titles, video clips. They do picture-in-picture even. So it's kind of like iMovie enhanced, probably. So thanks for those that have joined in. If you haven't jumped into the discussion yet, so with YouTube Live, you get to watch me, but it's more fun when you guys get to interact. So in the chat box, you just need to be logged into your YouTube account. So it's usually up in the top corner. And if you log in, then you'll be able to comment, and we can get all of your great ideas as we go along and explore that way. So it's a bit of a different setup tonight. I'm trying to, I didn't think this through because Clips is on my phone. So next week, maybe it will be smoother. But for tonight, it's a little bit of a jittery switch over from on my part. Sorry about that in advance. So we'll start in 2 minutes. Again, if you have Apple Clips, just let me know. If you have Adobe, that's great. Margaret and I were just chatting. For the Pixel users in the group, you may want to look for Adobe Premiere Rush. It has some great features. And I just think it's awesome to be able to think about a concept and know that there's many different ways to bring it to life. I know I get very comfortable with one, like Apple Clips. It's just my go-to. I'm thinking this week, I think I've made 5 clips already with Apple Clips. I love how it gives me the chance to annotate. Great time for things to pop up on your screen. So, what is happening? Tech glitches happen to all of us, don't they? There we go. All right, so thanks for joining us, Susan and Barb and Jennifer. And Nicola. Okay, so when I say I'm obsessed with Apple Clips, it's like I'm not exaggerating. I really am obsessed with Apple Clips. Those that know me know I'm super, I use it all the time. It's my go-to when I'm trying to explain something, just because it has some tools that really help me to communicate my understanding. And they keep adding little pieces, which make the idea of digital provocations really easy. But what we're doing today, the concepts of what we're doing today, really can be used anywhere. So I think as we look at those pieces, you may have a tool that you're using that just pops to mind that you're like, Tina, why didn't you think of this? The reason we added Adobe Clips in is just it's a really quick tool to get started. But I think with Apple Clips, we can add some more features. And for the Pixel users in the group, we're thinking Premiere Rush probably will give you that as well. All right. Do we have anybody that's actually, that I think we were all part of the Appy Hour crew in the spring. I don't know if we have any newbies tonight. I don't know if you want to admit it. If you're a returner, is there a better word to say? This is a good time to say my brain hasn't come back fully, and I probably should have waited till I was at top speed to do an Appy Hour, but in that case, it's not messy, authentic learning. So we have to keep with our tagline. All right. I think we're going to get started. Keep dropping your comments into the chat as we go along, and we'll explore. So one of the pieces, as we were posted and talked about digital provocations, I think there's so many ways we can do this, and I think a lot of times when I look at digital provocations, we would use already pre-made stuff. So whether it's 360 videos or it's Google Arts and Culture that has so many awesome tools built right in. But to me, what I was really exploring, especially lately, is how can we provoke learning when we're far away? And so I've always kind of played with that concept, especially with clips when I looked at DigiArtBox of how could you invite somebody to create something digitally in a short amount of time without you being there. So what kind of starting points could you give folks? I think though, as we moved online, I really was thinking of how can provocation support some of those pieces and some of those elements of bringing the teacher to the classroom, especially when we're looking at asynchronous activities, whether it's an activity that they're doing without us because it's our planning time, or whether it's an activity they're doing without us because we're working with a small group of friends, or whether we're supporting a colleague that's doing work with their classroom and we want to bring what we've done in person to that online environment. So I think when we look at digital provocations, there's so much potential for really sparking richer dialogue. And that's why in the example we looked at the video for the early years, because I think play is one of those great pieces where we're kind of stuck and exploring. Great to see some new folks and some returning people and lurkers. I'm with you. I'm always lurking. So one of the reasons I love Apple Clips is that it allows me to do the three things you kind of see. I can't point there, and I'm not even balanced. So we'll see that. Okay. So the first thing is that it allows me to bring in video. And just being able to capture video, I think a lot of times I revert back to pictures, but especially when we're wanting to do something like an IC, I think I wonder if we're wanting to walk through steps, being able to bring in video is huge. I think the other piece we want is to be able to label or to add text. And I think what I love about Apple Clips is that I can put those titles in different places. And again, Premiere Rush will let you do that. But even Adobe Clip will let me put in titles in between. So we're going to show you how we can do one really quick. I think it's amazing if we can annotate or add some direction. So in the video that you saw with Apple Clips, I was able to actually label the words. So for me, it was great because I can build that vocabulary. Think about even high school science, right? Being able to label that vocabulary that we're exploring, to provide that vocabulary as they're describing their own work, just to set them up for success. Being able to point objects out or to point the direction that they're going into. So those annotations are kind of ideal. I think for me, the hardest part about digital provocations is always playing with that idea of what's too much support in the clip and what's too little support. So I try to sit, especially when I was doing the play one, of thinking, when am I using this? Right? In my mind, it's an asynchronous activity. I'm not there. And I'm teaching families as much as I'm teaching the learners where the learning is in that experience. And I'm also helping them have the vocabulary as a provocation to bring in that math dialogue, to bring in that math vocabulary, that descriptive language that maybe wouldn't come up just on their own. I still think that sometimes I'm on the wrong end, and that's where having a buddy is always helpful. And I think some of that's just knowing our learners and gauging kind of how they're interacting with resources. So one thing that helps me, because I can get carried away just a little bit. Those that know me well know that's not uncommon. So for me, I try to put time constraints to provocations. I want this to be a spark. I don't want them to have to watch it for a long period of time. So for me, I try to look at digital provocations that are 1 to 2 minutes, and they can be shorter. I've been playing around with Reels in Instagram because I'm way too old for TikTok. So with the reels having 15 seconds or 30 seconds, that really forces you to be succinct. And I don't think you have quite as many features as what we're going to look at tonight. But for me, I try to stay to that 1 minute to 2 minute mark, just so that it keeps me accountable and makes sure that the kids are doing more playing than watching me explaining, more learning. They're more active. All right. So our goals tonight, we already talked about the best parts and the tips to remember. I'm going to show you quickly with Adobe Clip just how we could pull those pieces together. Even a great way for kids to document anything we're doing, they could do too. And then we'll go into Apple Clips and we'll try to step it up with some of those annotation features and talk through our process. Any goals that you have for tonight, drop them into the chat. We're just going to take a minute. Love that we have newbies here. This is a good time, again, to say this is messy, authentic learning. I sometimes mess up as we go along. You guys always have great ideas. So drop those in the chat as we go along. And Kathleen, I love that we can do these things in French and English. So the video part really allows us to tap into both. Don't let me forget to show you how in Apple Clips we can put subtitles in French. So we can change the language without changing your whole device, which will make that more powerful. All right, you can drop any questions you have. I'm going to switch over to my phone so we can show that on the screen. And we're going to hopefully not have anything go wrong. And of course it is. Did we say messy, authentic learning? Here it is. All right, try again. I was too prepared. I think I disconnected my phone and then connected again. You're going to see a lot of me in a second. We're going to give it a minute here. Sorry for the technical glitch. Had it all ready to go. And it seemed to get stuck. All right, we may just have to reset. Happens to all of us. Yes, hopefully. All right, we have some kindergarten friends. I think when we look at provocations, kindergarten's huge. The ones I pulled tonight are for math, and I think we could set them up in different ways for different grade levels. I wanted to do an I think I wonder, but the plant I'm growing kind of looks dead outside. So I didn't think that would make a very good provocation video. We got to plant into the patterns though. Hey, finally, there we go. All right, we're going to go into full screen. Perfect. Messy, authentic learning. Nicole, I'm glad that I had technical glitches during story time to me too today. Okay, so we're going to start with a simpler idea, and that's using Adobe Clip. So for those of us in Peel, or if you're Toronto, you're Catholic, York, I think you all have Adobe accounts, which is great because they don't just work for Adobe Spark, they work for all the Adobe apps. So what I like about this is the quickness of it. So I really can quickly take some ideas together and smash them up into a cool little clip that I can share. So I was just playing around with the idea of patterns and getting kids to go on a pattern hunt. So I want them to look at patterns. Now in this situation, I want to challenge them to think maybe beyond those simple patterns we see in primary. I'm saying primary, but early primary, and get them into seeing patterns in real life contexts, which is actually the exact wording in the new curriculum. So it makes this activity pretty fun. So I'm just going to push the plus sign in the corner. And then I can pull from my device. Anybody that's used Adobe Spark, which is another great tool to use to make provocations, the tools will always look the same, which is awesome. So I'm going to pull from my phone. One of the things I love about Clip is, again, it's meant to be a fast tool to use. If it loads my pictures. Technical glitches everywhere today. Hopefully you got into the app and you're already grabbing from your phone. I realized that it may not be open. I need one of those woes for all of the Apple folks in the crew. We'll go the other way. Oh, gotta love when technology works. We'll put Wi-Fi back on. That's the easier way. And hopefully it doesn't conk out on me. I promise it's simple. I don't know why it's glitching on me right now. So we'll try again. All right, plus sign on my phone. Recents. I just have to be patient. So on my phone, I've already taken video clips. It's just my process. I prefer to take the videos ahead of time and then do my editing. It's really up to you how you kind of organize it. You can take it on the spot. So I think I would take it on the spot if I was going on a nature walk. I thought one great provocation could be sit spots. Trying to explain that to families just in words may be hard, but taking a picture would probably really help them out. So I'm just going to take my clips, and I love that I can take a bunch of them all at the same time, and I can add them. I haven't been using the automatic. I've just been using freeform because that lets me come in and tweak it because I really don't need that whole clip. It's way too much. So I'm going to cut down these clips here to see. And we're going to see my pattern got a little funky there. So we'll go from here. Snap, snap, clap. Now, I do also love, if you're looking at science, if you're looking at phys ed, I love the fact that you can come in to the turtle on the bottom. I don't know if you can see that there with your different options. So I have my shutter, my volume, my turtle, and then the plus sign. And I can actually change the speed. So it will slow down my actions, which can be handy if you're doing phys ed or you're doing a step-by-step folding and you don't want to kind of take everything in slow-mo. So already I have my 3 clips. This looks pretty awesome, but I want to put some questions in there. So I'm going to use, we're going to say done, and we're going to use the plus sign. And then I'm going to go to the one on the very bottom that says new title. And again, if you're used to Clips, Clips has fancier pieces for the title. But again, just an option if you're getting started. So I'm going to say, where do you see patterns? I'm okay with that. And I'm just going to hold and bring it to the front. I'm going to wait a minute And I'm going to show you one more time how to add a title, and then I'm going to jump into the comments as you're creating or as you're exploring. So I did say, where do you see patterns? But I want them to think a little more about the patterns they see. So I'm actually thinking I want to start, because a plant kind of challenges. They have to look closely to see that it's a growing pattern where each level kind of adds two to the stem. This was kind of a shrinking pattern where I was taking away stitches. I don't know if I like starting with music though, because that's a challenge too. So those are the things that are always fun to explore and to play with. I find I always end up tweaking things. Maybe I'm going to say repeating patterns. I don't even have to do that in the curriculum though, so maybe we'll ask them, can you keep my pattern going? We'll put that in. And we can add more titles throughout. I'm going to give you a couple minutes to explore. I'm going to come into the chat. I'm glad everybody's going with the tech glitches. We haven't had this many tech glitches ever, but that's what I get for streaming off an iPad. So we'll try next time. Next time I'll think it through a bit more. So I like that this is really simple, really quick. Also, again, a great tool if we're showing colleagues that maybe don't have an Apple device, or just it's an easier starting point. Even if you're going on a walk and you want to grab all those pictures and all those videos and just quickly drop them together to do a quick edit, you notice we have that option of bringing in our text and pictures as well. Questions about it so far? Does it seem pretty straightforward? All right, just looking at our time, and I want to show some of the Apple Clip features. Let's add a little bit more. So I'm all about music. In Clips, Adobe Clip, it will keep the sound that you recorded with your videos. I'm always bad with that, so I do like how I can control that. But we do have the option here to bring my volume down or to fade items in and out. So you can explore that. So for example, this clip here, I want it to be pretty loud because they're doing the sounds. And then in my clip over here, I don't have any sound on there, that's why. Let's bring that down. All right. So I can manipulate my sound. I also love, just like Adobe Spark, they have a bunch of sounds already in there. So I can add those and play my video. So I'm going to share my clip and save to camera roll. If you're really wanting to get creative, I'll cancel that for a second. You also have the option to make a few edits, and trying to remember where I found it now. We had the option to go under look and to find some different filters. So if you want to get creative or get a feel going on your video there, you can give it a little look to each of your clips. Super simple, super fast forward, straightforward kind of clip. But I think it has a lot of potential to start us off with provocations, and a great way for us to explore how we can put the video clips together to act as a spark for our learners. Questions, comments, ideas before we get into clips and get carried away? Can you see it working for your group? Or you're not won over? For all the clips people, they're like, Tina, we'll just use clips. And I can't blame you because that's kind of my go-to. Just going to open up clips as we get started. So if you have any comments, just drop them into the chat. So the same concept, I think, that idea, again, coming back to those 3 points of the video, but then also being able to bring in the titles. To me, those annotations are kind of what make clips a superpower in digital provocations, because I'm really able to highlight and label different pieces as I go along. So again, for the Pixel friends in the group, I think the app to check out, and maybe that's something we can play with in a future week if people want to, is Adobe Premiere Rush. It's kind of their Premiere tool, and Premiere is such a powerful tool. I just haven't played with it yet because I'm addicted to clips. So Jennifer, we're using, not everybody has Apple Clips because it's only on Apple devices. So we showed an app that I don't know how they got away with calling it almost the exact same thing. It's called Adobe Clip. But we're going into Apple Clips now. Let me just see, just looking at your device, it looks like that white box with the blue circle and the video camera in it. So for those that have Adobe Apple Clips, if you just want to open it up, and we'll start from this screen. Let me know if that's what you see. You can give me a thumbs up. Just Oh, you're online, Jennifer. Is that it? You're on, if you're on a computer, when we look at digital provocations, the hardest part is finding a tool that works for you. So Adobe has a lot of different video options. Adobe Clip was one that they made available, but Rush is the full shebang. So I think they just decided to put it all into Rush. I didn't think I got the app that long ago, but Adobe does things like that just to streamline it over time. Unfortunately, with Adobe Spark is available on a computer, but they don't usually let their full programs like Photoshop and Premiere kind of run on the web, if that makes sense. Barb, you will have to help us do Rush one night. That's okay. And Jennifer, I don't know why they called them something so close. Maybe that's why they decided to just go to Rush. It's something different. Okay. That's on me. So we're going to start a new clip. I know we've done Apple Clips before for those that have joined us for that session before. So we'll walk through adding a few features. Yeah, Barb, I have so many tools. Usually they just don't let you keep updating them. So it's weird. I don't know what happened there. So in Apple Clips, we're going to create a clip. I have a sorting activity that I already videotaped. I did it almost straight. So I'm actually going to use a new feature in Apple Clips called Split that will let me just kind of cut it up as I go along. I decided early on not to record my voice, but I could record my voice as I go along. So it's really up to me where I record, whether you record when you're doing your actions, or if you're going to record the voiceover after, or if you feel you don't need any voiceover. I find with kids, they appreciate having that audio, and that will help us out. Okay, so I'm going to create a new one. And I'm going to start with my posters. So your posters are on your bottom right. And I want to give it a title so that they know what this provocation is about. I want something that looks like sorting. I have toys here. Some of these are also really long animations, but I'll try game over because I think that might entice them. And it's Lego pieces, so it kind of has that feel. How can help me sort? So I'm going to apply. And then to add this clip to my timeline, this was the hardest part before, was we hold our pink till we're ready. Now, while I was talking, I didn't say anything really meaningful there. So I can edit this clip by tapping on it. And then I get a control panel right above the clip. So I can see my different options, including a mute button. Just avoids if I'm talking and I don't really want that to be in the clip. I have that control. I'll give you a second so that you can have your title on there. Just let me know you're good to go in the chat. There's tons of different posters and scenes and clips. And like you said, Barb, there's so many options. I think to me, this is really what makes or breaks a clip is when we use too many different ones. So I always try to go for a color scheme. And selfishly, I chose this because I have multicolored Lego on a black background. So it kind of will fit with my theme. So I have my poster. Let me know if you need more time. If you want me to slow it down, just tell me in the chat. But I know some of us have used this already. So I'm going to go to my library because I have my video clip that I took. And I'm going to go in sections. So I'm going to go into my library here. And there's my video that I recorded. Just a note or a reminder that you can zoom in and reposition your video in clips. So you have that option to recenter, resize. I also edited this clip right in my camera roll because it was had the tripod stand in it. So that's another option we have there. So I can just fast forward. I'm just going to look here. So I'm trying to think of what I want to say. So I'm going to tell them that I have Lego. Can they help me sort it? And I'm going to go all the way to about here. And I'm going to move it down just a little bit because I want them to see my bowls later. Okay. So I'm thinking for this clip, though, I just want it to say the words I say. I don't want to have to put titles on it. So I'm going to use something called live titles. So in the speech bubble, you can add a little subtitle bar. And for you, Kathleen, you can come in and you can actually choose French. So you can change those languages at any time. So I have this jar of Lego. I wonder how I can sort it. Can you help me out? So when I click on my video, I can click on my little speech bubble to double check if my live titles are right or not, and I can edit them if they're not. So right now I have this cool intro, help me sort. That should entice my friends into wanting to do this activity. And then I have my Lego jar that I'm bringing in. So I'm good to go. So as I go through, notice how I pause on the 9-second mark. Noticing those seconds can be really helpful just to know where you want to go back to, but you do have that control that you can fast forward or delete. So that's really helpful as you go along. Now I messed up and I put all 3 at the top, and then I realized I needed to put my 3 bowls somewhere else. So I'm going to stop right there, and then I'm going to tell them that I have 3 sorting bowls. Just to kind of challenge them again, I want to get them past just the 2 groups. I have 3 bowls to sort into. Not the best math language I've ever used, but we'll go with that. This here, when I play it back, I'm noticing I really want them to focus on those white bowls. They may miss that. They may not even notice that I have these 3 bowls. So I'm actually going to split the clip so that I can put a label right on it that says 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to click on my clip, and I have this option to split. And split lets me take that big chunk and bring it into smaller chunks. This is a new tool in Apple Clips that came in the spring, which is really helpful. So I can find that spot where I want to. So there's my first one. So I'm actually going to split it right before I put it down, because I don't want to put the number in until it's down right there. So I'm going to split. And then I can come in here, and I'm going to split when it ends. Oh, I don't want. That's okay. When the 2's moving, I can still have number 1 in there. And I'll do this again because it looks a little funky. So now I have a shorter clip. I have clip 1. I want number 1 to be right inside my bowl. So I can go to Effects, Text, and I can write number 1. Notice how I use blue because it still kind of goes with our ideas, with our color scheme. So there's 1. Again, I have my next clip. I'm going to go to that split tool, and I'm going to play it till number 2 is kind of down. So I'm going to wait. I put it down there so I can split it. And now I can come in and go to my effects and put down number 2. Just to show you what it looks like. You can't hear my voice, of course. And I realized I should have kept number 1, 2, and 3. So already noticing how I can make this clip even better. Can you see how the features could support you? Are there questions about our clip so far? If you don't have a video in your camera roll that you can play around with right now, remember you can use your camera and take a video on the spot. I'm going to show you a couple other features, and then we'll maybe chat some more and people can pop their questions into the chat box. So we're going to pretend I got my 3 bowls down, and I want to tell them my rule. So in this one, I'm going to say, so where's my 3rd bowls down? So I'm going to start from here, and I'm going to put a label saying I'm going to sort by use. That maybe won't make sense till I start sorting, but that's okay. So if I say sort by, I'm going to sort by how I use the Lego. So I'm going to put extra pieces in Maybe extra pieces isn't the word. Special pieces? And this is how we realized making a 1 minute provocation video takes much longer than it looks. So I have special pieces, but I don't know if they'll know that it's really that exact bowl. So I want to make sure I highlight it somehow. So I could use that yellow to highlight it in my stickers. Again, my star and my stickers. And I can go to that third option. I get all these arrows. Could use the blue arrow. That could be a good choice. Or I could highlight it with a circle. I'm thinking the blue arrow is going to be the best one. So I'm going to draw that little blue arrow in there. And I can record. Small pieces. Now I'm going to leave the label and just move my arrow. Clips is smart enough to know that if anything is on the page that was there on the page before it, it won't animate it again. And flat pieces. I hope I remember this right. Flat pieces. Oh, check that out. I messed it up. So hold it up and slide it away, and I can fix my mistake. Flat pieces. And again, I can move that arrow up to the top, and I can put my last label in. Star, text, bricks. And bigger bricks. So when I play that back, each of my annotations builds on itself. So I have really an annotated video that helps with my learning. So I see one comment. I'm going to pause. That was a lot. All right, Jennifer, I'm going to show you the 1, 2, 3. So just kind of like we did with the pieces here. I'm going to fast forward to our next sorting. So I'm going to just clear my page here. If you're playing with the ideas, just go for it. And for those that want another round, let me just clear the page. So I'm going to put, let's do a new rule. Let's do a new rule. We'll wait till they're all dumped. I'm going to fast forward so I can remember what I did. Oh, I sorted by color. So we'll put a title. Let's sort by color. So in this basket, I'm putting cool colors. So I'm going to use my effects. I'm going to put a title, cool colors, and maybe we'll put a wave in there as a visual prompt. And my hand's in the way, but we'll let it go. Again, I'm going to go get my sticker because I want them to notice that it's this bin here that's the cool colors. So I'm sorting between cool colors and now I'm on to my warm colors. So I'm going to move my arrow because I want my arrow to move, but I'm not moving the words. That means they'll stay on the screen when I add the next step. Warm colors, maybe a sun. Put it right underneath the arrow. Warm colors. And I need my friend Debbie to, I moved my warm colors. I need to move this guy. There we go. And then I can put my third label in. So all of my labels that I did before this one will stay if I don't move them. So Clips is smart enough that if I put it on before, it will just keep going. So it won't animate them. So if I cancel this for a second, just so you can see. It's just a little delayed on my screen there. Let's just reconnect. We'll force quit and see if that helps us. Did I say technical glitches tonight? Ay, ay, ay. Now QuickTime stuck. Let me know in the chat how it's going. This isn't quite how we wanted to bring Appy Hour back. App didn't work, and then I feel like we'll have to make another video just to replay what we're exploring today. Lost my screen completely. Well, if you're still with us and you're exploring, let me know what you've tried out. Let me know what questions you have. How's it going while I try to figure out the tech? Yeah, Jeff, I think it's because I'm using two different devices. Is my video like me? Am I frozen too? I'm trying to see if I can get the QuickTime back up so you can see my device. Maybe it was just not meant to be tonight. Oh, you can't get the app to work. The app is frozen. That's where I'm at. So here's what I'll do. Literally, StreamYard just went down on my MacBook, so I don't think it's coming back. It's been telling us messages all night, and I haven't been listening. I'm just waiting for it to load. I'm going to put that on Wi-Fi. We'll see if we can get it back up. So I use two devices when we do Appy Hour, and this isn't the most flattering angle here, but we're going to go with it. This recording will probably go nowhere except for you lovely folks. So we'll have to redo an how-to for folks. So I'll make a provocation video on how to make provocation videos. How about that? So I think in Clips, what I love about Clips is that you have those different options of using the annotations to enhance your pictures in your video. So it really helps us, especially right now when we're creating digital provocations for online learning, to be able to point and circle and tap. So for example, today I made 2 videos for families on how to submit assignments in Google Classroom, just because that's something that we often get questions about. And I could definitely just do a screen recording, but one, I want them to access it quickly. And two, I want to really annotate where I want them to tap. So I find that I love clips for that reason. But we've also used Adobe Spark for a provocation if it's just pictures and I want my voice. I think with Rush, you have more opportunities again to annotate video and to see how that video can really bring our presence into those spaces. So how can our voice and how can those images help bring that sense of an educator in the room? Almost act like the classroom as a third teacher, right? The video is supporting that environment for learning. So it's acting as that third teacher when we can't be there. Selena, I'm glad I can help you with the tech issues. I'm great for that. So that's why we that's why we call this messy authentic learning. Something's always gone awry, but we've never had this many things go awry in one night. No, it's just my Wi-Fi. It's the joys of condo living. And I don't usually try to have 3 devices on the Wi-Fi at the same time. So I think I just overburdened my system. But like Nicole said, this seems to be the status quo lately. Everything seems to be just slightly off as we're exploring online. So I'll try one more time and we'll take any of your questions. We can kind of see what the clip looks like. Like I said, I can make a little video walkthrough this weekend that walks you through the steps we just talked about so that you can do it at your own pace and when the technology doesn't fail us. So I'm just going to make sure I can get my device up and then I'll see if I can get the StreamYard up for our last couple of minutes. Can you see how the video, can you see kind of how the app would, I use weird words, Jeff. Sometimes they just, I don't even know where I got them from. It's the joys of growing up overseas. I still say the wrong words sometimes. Like for the longest time, I said tidbit and timbit instead of tidbit. And didn't really know I was saying the wrong thing for the longest time. I think I may be able to get it up one last minute here before we head out for the night. What do you think would Hinsley Bidgley? I can't, that's the thing. Love seeing what you guys create after the Appy Hours. Like we said, this one wasn't as smooth as we wanted. I don't think I'm going to be able to pull it up in the last 5 minutes. But you never know. Why not try? But that's okay. That's how tech is acting for all of us. Maybe before we leave, though, we could share what do you think would be something that you're looking at right now or something that you wish was a provocation, something that I could do in my sample or in a sample video. Do you see a place where you think a digital provocation or a video provocation would be a great fit? Maybe that's one way we can end off our time together tonight. So it's always hardest to wait for ideas. Sorry. I definitely can see it for a lot of math provocations. I was even thinking, like, a friend posted, we put in her choice grid about making nature patterns, and how could a video maybe spark something more than an A-B pattern? The what you see, what you notice, I think there's so many possibilities for that. Even something like a video where you ask them to pause the video to take a close look and then maybe play some provocations that others would explore. Yeah, Jennifer, I think there's so many possibilities with music. I was thinking that as we started tonight. So I was thinking of the idea of even where you position your hands when you're making a note. If you're looking at musical notes and you want them kind of to see a range or a pitch, making beats. Denise, I love the idea for a math walk, because that's the kind of thing, and we didn't get to it on my video yet, the idea of being able to put in a slide that asks them for their turn and how could they do the same thing you're doing but in a different environment. And I love that the math curriculum really focuses on the math context or in real life context. So even giving them a math walk for angles, showing them the different angles you see in your area, and then asking them to look in theirs, allows a lot of possibility. I'm liking the rhythmic pattern differences. I think you can almost turn it into a game, right? Like when we look at which one doesn't belong, or can you guess my rule? Some of those pieces could just become provocations for a discussion starter. Oh, they would be awesome to advertise your story walks. I want to hear more about the story walks. Sounds awesome. I'm seeing all the learning walks, and I think it's a great tool to advertise. We've been using clips in our school to do some fun review of different routines. So at the beginning of the year, we use some TikTok trends, so the jump cuts, to make some fun transitions in our videos. And then I tried to do almost like the emoji. I don't know if anybody saw that on TikTok, where they had the emojis. You had to try to match the emojis. So we set something up like that with to explore how to keep their computers clean. So those ideas of making little videos as ads or making little videos to communicate kind of a big idea, I think is really cool. Yeah, the tarmac games that are out. We don't really have that chance to bring everybody together. I like that with the lines and the shapes. I just realized we've been talking about rule of thirds in photography, and I could have been doing that in here. And what I love about clips and any app, like you saw that too with Adobe's apps, is that you have that option of bringing in from your camera roll. So if I have a stop motion, if I have something that I've animated in another app like Keynote, I'm able to bring it in to clips as kind of that final editor. But yeah, Jennifer, there's this great book, and I left it at school or else I'd pull it up right now, called Morning Sounds, I think. It's all about listening for the sounds that we hear in the morning. It'd be a cool read aloud, and then having that provocation right after that they could go find sounds, document them. Changes is matter. Cool. Substances interacting with water, all of that. Art, drawing step techniques. Debbie Axiak at Hillside, she created some amazing Apple Clips last year as Sparks. And I'm going to say the word wrong, so somebody can correct me. But I think it's ephemeral. Hopefully I said it right. Ephemeral art. So the idea of creating art with objects that later will be used for something else. And the clip was awesome. So cool to see what the kids made with it after. Yeah, tips and tricks for how to work effectively, Jeff. That's a great idea. We've even had kids create their own how-to clips. with clips. Selena, I love that idea about bringing in the natural environment. So even going outside and going to the beach and making a pattern and then annotating that pattern to send along, I think, like we said, I think it teaches as much, supports families as much as it supports our learners. Because sometimes it's hard when we're just mentioning objects or loose parts for everyone to envision what that looks like. So many ideas. You guys are rocking these ideas. Okay, so sorry that the technology failed us, and probably it's user error, not technology error. So for the next time, I'll have it more settled. What I'll do is we have our chat, if that's okay. So I'll make a video. I won't be able to get it done tonight or tomorrow, but I probably can get it done on the weekend. So I'll go through the steps we went through today. I probably will be over my 2-minute limit that I told you I try to stay to. And as you guys are playing, hopefully it will help with some of those features that really enhance when you're creating digital provocations. I have some other basic Apple Clips videos that I'll drop in. And then we'll do one that just focuses on some of those features that would help for what we're talking about tonight. I think for all the Maker Ed stuff, there's so much potential as we explore this topic, Jeff, like you say. For our next Appy Hour, if this didn't turn you off because I messed it up so badly, if you're still game, I think we're looking at the second and the last week, so the second and the fourth week of the month. If that works for folks, let me know. You can drop it in the chat now, or you can message later. Is there a topic that you really want to explore, something you really want to look at? We haven't looked at the all of the Adobe apps. I know Barb was mentioning the Adobe Suite earlier. I really enjoy Photoshop Mix. It's a great tool, and it makes Photoshop much more manageable. So if that's something you want to look at, and maybe just something some people enjoy for themselves, we could look at that. I know Flipgrid came up before. We've talked about Flipgrid a few times, but if you wanted to look at that again. I always would love to explore AR, but I know it's a bit crazy. So we may leave that for another time. And I'm guessing as December comes up, maybe we can look at some coding options. If you have any suggestions, ideas, but we're over our time. I'm so sorry, friends. Thank you for sticking it out, even though the tech and my brain kind of fell slightly apart there at the end. But yeah, thanks for hanging out. It's fun nonetheless with all of you. So I'll stay on for a few minutes. You can keep dropping your comments in the chat if you want. Thanks for joining us tonight. Thanks for your patience. I'll send you that clip over the weekend at some point. And yeah, we'll take it from there. Thanks again. Have an awesome night. All right, coding. Coding's definitely on the list. We will do coding. We can start with coding sooner, I guess. Thanks for joining us, friends. Thanks, Latoya. Thanks, Susan. Thanks, Jennifer. Thanks for your patience. It was bound to happen. One of them was going to crash, I guess. Thanks for your sharing, Jeff. Lots of coding. Jeanette, I don't know how many gems were in that one. Hopefully there were a few. It's because I didn't drink enough of my Coca-Cola, I think. I'm glad you're enjoying it, Selena. Sorry, they usually go smoother, but I think I figured out what to do next time. Fingers crossed. If you have any last questions, I'll stay on for 2 more minutes and then we'll close it down for tonight. Thanks again for coming, friends. All right. Have a great night.